I walk around without any expression. My eyes wide awake, my thoughts gone to bed. With the lack of any reason or a purpose, I become one of the living dead. But at the time, I'm in need for inspiration. Gotta bring to life this flesh and bone. Realize that life is more than something given. You gotta wake up, take it on your own. Have you heard what they said? That I'm back from the dead. It took some time, but now the light is shining down. Life is a choice you make yourself. Choose not to choose, and just rot in yourself. With the feet on it's pretty hard to know exactly what is real, what's in my head. Hesitated down deep in my direction, sharpened claws, or what I saw instead. Rock bottom when there's nowhere to go, I have to trust the hand that's not my own. Pull myself back through the dirt and gravel to the light, whoa, to the unknown. Have you heard what they say? That I'm back from the dead. It took some time, but now the light is shining down. Life is a choice you make yourself. Choose not to choose, and just rot in yourself. Gotta wake up, take it on your own. Have you heard what they said? That I'm back from the dead. It took some time, but now the light is shining inside.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Radio Mythoverse for May the 2nd, 2020. At the opening, you heard Back from the Dead by the Suburban Swamp Kids. That track is available on their Personal Growth EP. They're a fantastic ska punk band from South Florida. Check them out on Spotify or on their Bandcamp page at swampkids.bandcamp.com. I'll put a link to that page in the description below. Hey folks, I'm Dan, Editor-in-Chief of the Mythoverse. We're back on at our new time, Saturdays 9 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for joining us. I've been working remotely since the 13th of March, and we show no signs of that changing until sometime in May, which is this month. My state is planning to reopen in limited capacity this Monday, but the consensus among my colleagues at worse is we're going to go on being a little bit cautious about that. So today, the word of the day is Mythics, for which we have launched a new Kickstarter campaign, this time for the Mythics book, issue number 2 by itself. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but first, with me tonight, as always, is Brett. He is the writer-creator of Changeling and Urban Fairy Tale, as well as our head of community outreach and PR, and also Matt, the writer-creator of Mythics, and our head writer. So before we go on to the main topic of the evening, which, spoiler alert, is Mythics, what's up, guys?
Oh,
Hey.
there's a whole lot concerning Mythics. Well, I'll go into that later.
Oh, yeah. Well, we will absolutely spend a lot of time talking about Mythics tonight. But just without regard to Mythics, how's everything going, Matt?
Tiring, because I'm an essential worker, so that means I still have a job.
Well, why am I not seeing a TikTok dancing video of you?
I have no idea. I don't. I
I'm
have
pretty sure if you look
Probably-
hard enough,
I think it's because he doesn't have any corpses on hand to do it with.
Besides, I'm pretty sure if you look hard enough, you'll find TikTok videos from McDonald's anyway. Most of them being from the teenage girls they employ.
Well, speaking of essential workers, Brett, where are your TikTok videos?
You'll never find them because they don't exist, because I will go to my grave never having downloaded TikTok because it's a Chinese spy app.
No, you see, this is a
Oh.
good man. This is a good man.
I didn't even.
I'm not even-
install
that's
Pokemon
not-
Go
I'm
when
not
I
even
was
being-
out there.
I'm not even being paranoid there. TikTok is banned on U.S. government phones, and the Army actually considers it a cyber threat.
I still never got your private snap, Brett.
Oof. Although
Brett.
I think we will still see TikTok videos from Walmart for various reasons.
So I didn't know you had a premium Snapchat, Brett. What's up? All right, so before we get too derailed, who won our no prize this week?
3 guesses.
Does anyone want to try?
Does it
Who is very, very smug right now?
Well, I would try to win, but I don't think I can beat Horny Boy.
Oh my god, it's oh my god. Okay, maybe.
I mean, somehow Neville did it for over a month.
This is true. I need to start working on. I need to get back to work on projects again because that's when I post the most.
Yeah, Neville did it for over a month, and Man in Black actually came very close this week, second place.
Because he's
Oh,
always
nice.
posting gifs.
Well, that's nothing against the rules. It's all
I
about
know, I'm
posting.
just-
It's quantity.
I know.
Anyway, well, congratulations again. So I think that's your 737th win of the no prize since we started the contest. So anyway, as you can see in the stream, we're displaying, a bunch of customer photos from backers of our first Kickstarter campaign. So there's a lot of folks out there that are really happy with our books and happy to let us know that they got them. So that's really cool. And as everyone knows, we have since launched a new Kickstarter campaign for one of our books this time instead of all 3 of them. We just figured logistically it was a better play to do them one at a time so that we don't have the schedules of 3 teams overlapping and delaying fulfillment and all that stuff. So anyway, so we have launched a campaign for Mythics issue 2, and I think we have reached a milestone this week. Let me go ahead and swap on over to there. Okay, I'm now displaying the Kickstarter page on the stream, and I can see that we have surpassed $1,000 and 33 backers in our first week.
Oh yeah.
With 22 days to go, so we have 3 weeks, and we're just above a quarter of the way there. So technically speaking, we are on pace, but the way these things typically work is you get the bulk of it on the first few days, and the rest of it on the last few days. So what I expect to see here is a little bit of a slowdown in the middle, and it should pick up on the last week, especially in the last 2 days or so. And that's what happened with most recently Jack Irons. He set a $10,000 goal, and I think in the last week he had 4 days to go or 3 days to go, and he was at just about over $6,000. And he managed to pull up the remaining $4,000 in the last 72 hours of the campaign.
I think so.
Yeah, so you never
Felt
know.
like it was the last. Sure felt like it was the last 24 hours though.
Yeah, well, he gradually worked his way up, but he did get the last huge chunk of it in the last 24 hours. And that was an interesting day. Cody was, getting ready to pivot onto a different strategy because he was expecting not to fund. And I think our group chat, our Wicked group chat, turned into something of a war room where we were all strategizing ways to help him get that last bit of funding. And I think 7 of us offered up a free digital copy of our number 1s to everyone who backed on that day. And I think I just ended up sending up a copy of Adobe Kroger 1, and so did you, Brett and Matt, to everyone that backed the campaign. So whole bunch of people got a whole lot of free stuff.
Yeah, Cody's actually in the chat right now, and he's very grateful.
Yeah, I was very.
Turned into our war room for our gay ops.
Yeah, there were a lot of gay ops, all bent on getting Jack over the line, and that was a fun day. Like I said, we haven't had that much energy in our little comic community since like early 2018, when everything really started to take off and everyone really started to come together. Mostly over like Jawbreakers and stuff. That's where I met most of the people, was when I shared that I had backed Jawbreakers. And a whole bunch of people started to get acquainted with me and all that. And met a lot of cool people that way. And that was a fun time. And the Jack Irons 2 campaign was the first time in quite a while that I had felt that energy. So I was very grateful to be a part of that.
No, it wasn't number 2. It was number 3.
I'm sorry.
Cody already got number 2.
I meant the number 2 campaign, the second campaign. His first campaign was for 1 and 2, and the second campaign was for number 3. So that's what I meant. So anyway, the point of all that was we got 25% of the way to the end of the campaign here on the first week. We have 3 weeks to go. We need just under $3,000, and we should be able to get it. So the good thing about that is we now have a milestone to announce, and I have the page up here where Matt talks about it. Matt, do you want to quickly speak to what the backers can expect from the $1,000 milestone?
It's basically the issue 1 script. If I didn't put it through the edits, so it's gonna be issue 1's 28-page script version, and it was also redone to fix a lot of the mistakes that I made. But I think it'll be fun to read and something to expect sometime in the future if we gain enough money from the campaigns to start putting together a trade paperback where it's issue 1 but with restored pages.
Very cool. So thank you everyone that has backed the campaign so far to get us to this point, and your reward should be in the email. Cody says that he has received it, so if you have backed the campaign, you should have it. So
I sent them all out as soon as it happened.
well, yeah, Matt's definitely on the ball, and I think we have a lot of exciting things to look forward to here, and I hope we hit more milestones. And I have every confidence that the campaign will fund. It may be an 11th hour thing like these things usually are, but, at least it's not boring when that happens, right?
Yeah. Although it is kind of nice to beat guys like Brian Polito, where you can just get funded on the first day, but he's got the advantage of being a known name, so...
Well, he wasn't a known name at first. I mean, he was where we were at one point, and...
yeah, true. Of course, also when he started out, Comics was a very different thing.
Yeah, everyone starts from nothing. Everyone starts from zero. Just people get to their individual goals or milestones at different paces. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Yeah, we're not going to fund in the first hour like a lot of these big campaigns are. We won't hit the 6 figures anytime soon. But last campaign we did fund, and we have fulfilled it, and our customers are satisfied, and I'm noticing through the dashboard that a lot of our old backers are returning for this one. So that's fantastic.
That's all. It's always good when you get repeat customers.
Yeah. And new customers too. We have at least 6 new backers that have found us through Kickstarter's recommendation algorithm. So I'm very pleased about that. We had a lot of folks in our Mythoverse campaign that found us that way. So Kickstarter...
it's really weird when... Oh, go on.
No, go ahead.
It was really weird when I put the campaign's title through the search engine of Kickstarter and it didn't show up.
What, Mythics issue 2?
Yeah.
You put it in Mythics issue 2.
I typed it in, did not show up. Typed it in again, it did show up. So
okay.
If you can't find it through the search engine, don't give up. You might be able to do it the second time around.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, just search for the Mythoverse and that'll bring up the Kickstarter profile. You click that, it shows you both the campaigns that we've run. I'll show you our first one.
Ty Kid's
Right next to it'll be Mythic
And
issue 2.
And by the way, Ty Kid's asking why we decided to release issue 2 separately this time. We already went through that. And it's mostly just because the whole Mythoverse first team is actually international. So scheduling is so like that was kind of a mistake we made the first time around. Because sorry, Dan.
No problem. Long story short, it's just that we had as much as we would love to get them all out at once, it's not really logistically feasible to do that consistently. Leandro is in the Philippines, Ginger's in the UK, Victor's in Mexico, and everyone works at their own pace, and everyone has their own situations that allow them to turn work in at a certain pace. And if we get into a situation where one book is complete and the other two aren't, or something happens and one of the books gets delayed, then it just gets into a situation where we might have to delay fulfillment if we had intended to send them all out at once physically. Now that wasn't really an issue for the digital backers, but for print it can cause problems. So it was mainly for simplicity's sake. Like this way, Matt and Beth only have to worry about their own book, and as soon as they're done, they can close the campaign out. They don't have to wait for us. And that was primarily the reason. It was just a matter of simplicity for scheduling, budgeting, and fulfillment.
Yeah.
And Cody says, I can speak to experience there. Schedule is crazy, and running multiple collaborations on a logistical juggle enough for one title at a time. Yeah, so 3 at a time is even more difficult because we had a distinctly bad situation. It wasn't bad. It was just, we could have managed it better. Ginger had committed to Changeling 36 pages of color work, which was the most work out of all of our Mythoverse books. Adobe Kroger was one artist working on 24 pages. Mythics was one artist working on 20 pages. And Changeling was 2 artists working on 36 pages. So Victor might have all of his line work done, but Ginger would have to color it to complete the project. And at the time, she had also committed to coloring 91 pages of Sporkman. And that caused an issue where there wasn't any possible way she would have enough time to finish both projects and have both projects meet their promised delivery date. So
I honestly feel kind of bad for that.
No, you see, I want her to get all the work she can get. It's just a matter of time management is the problem. So if she committed to one project and then she's committed to another project at the same time, that's just something we just have to stay on top of. That's all. But anyway, so running the project separately just eliminates all that, and as soon as one team's done, it's done, and then we can move on to the next. Yeah, Cody says, issue with independent contractors. Lots of joys too, though. I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, I'm sure that Brett and Matt will agree that it's a sheer delight working with our teams. Leandro is the most professional and polite and prompt artist I've ever worked with. And like I've said this many times, I picked him because not only was his style perfect, but he was the easiest to work with, despite being in the Philippines. He is by far the most professional and reliable. He's my rock in this project. Like, if he ever decided he didn't have enough time or he was no longer available, I just would not go on producing Adobe Kroger, because so many of the other artists I tried to bring onto the project, I'll be perfectly honest, they flaked, they ghosted me, or they just could not deliver on time. Leandro is the exact opposite. He takes his craft very seriously, and I hope he just continues to go very far, even if he no longer works on my project. And I'm sure he will, because he's very easy to work with and he gets stuff done. Would you say you agree with regard to Bethy and Ginger and Victor?
Oh, definitely.
Victor and Ginger, I mean, they're not just people I work with, they're friends. I mean, I bounce ideas off them all the time. They're honestly irreplaceable.
Sure. Yeah, I've told this to Matt and Brett. If Leandro ever leaves, Adobe Kroger's done. I'll just go back to writing novels because it was just too much work to find someone like Leandro. I just don't want to go through that again.
Dan finally found a real man.
I found a real man. There you go. But anyway, yeah.
Move aside, Jen.
Yeah. If we were to go by like the classification of like alpha, beta, delta, Leandro is a delta. That means he's very, very hardworking and competent and very reliable. So anyway, I missed the joke. What are you laughing at?
No, I just think what I said was funny. Just,
Yeah. Well.
keep going.
Okay. So anyway, the Mythics campaign is off to a roaring start. It's going to be a slow and steady thing, just like the other one was. But I think we got this one. We have enough time. We got enough people talking about it, and we keep trying different strategies. I've run campaigns on Instagram. We've run raffles on Twitter. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's also a testbed for a lot of new ideas. I really like a lot of the stuff Matt came up with for this campaign. That was all him, by the way. All the tiers and all the perks, these are all Matt's brainchildren. Like the idea of giving progressive rewards as you reach milestones. That's a pretty cool feature that I don't see very often.
They're not progressive enough.
Not progressive enough, yeah.
Oh, wait. Well, we did. Well, it was something we carried over from the first campaign, which was something we kind of made up on the fly.
Which was what?
Introducing progressive rewards as we cleared milestones.
Oh yeah, well that as we went along, but Matt had these all laid out in advance this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Let put it this way: Matt took something we came up with on the fly and perfected it.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. So, before we get off the topic of Mythics, there is something else that I've been meaning to talk about. Let me go over to that. Okay, where is it? Okay, so up on the screen right now should be a pretty neat project called Corona Kings. And I believe Dylan is in the chat with us right now.
Hello.
Okay, so real quick before I move on to the reason I'm showing this off, can you talk about what the Corona Kings project was?
I believe it was like a free thing where it's just some free short stories for people.
It's an anthology, that's so.
Yeah, like an anthology, just different stories and stuff. They're not even all just comics. Some of them are just drawings. Some of them are, written stories. And mine, Matt and I did a Mythics short comic for the Corona Kings. It's on page 29 through 36. Mm-hmm. It's about her recollecting this or recounting this investigation or whatever she did of her hunting down this vampire.
Mm-hmm. I have it on screen right now.
Yeah, Matt, he approached me, and he offered, to let me do this, and I was really excited to do it. And yeah, I really tried something different with the colors. If you go into it and read it, there's these bright party neon colors and everything to establish the mood. I think it's really worth a read, and it's free, and it's really fun.
Yeah, I have it on screen right now, and having been to a lot of different kinds of clubs in my day, this really does capture the feel of it because you're saturated with these very exciting, very almost sensual colors the moment you walk in, and you are surrounded by sound. So on this first panel here, where Althea is bathed in purples, and the notes are almost as large as her head, that really does give you an impression that you're walking into a room that's designed to overload you. Overload
God,
your
that
senses.
That would be sensory overload for me. I would be like, no, I'm gone.
Yeah, I had a roommate that I took out to a club. Actually, it's a club that appears in Adobe Kroger, like Errant, the club she visits Reese in. And he walked into the club and could not stay because he said it hurt his bones. I don't know. But the vibrations were just too strong for him. So yeah, this first panel, you get that impression. She's walking in. You probably can't hear yourself talk, even if you shout. It's too loud. And everything is just pure decadence and pure degeneracy. So I don't want to spoil the whole book, the whole story, because it's really cool. But one thing I did notice is that your sense of dynamic action is greatly improved. Your anatomy's gotten a hell of a lot better, and the color is just striking. It's fantastic. So, Matt, this is a canon story, right?
Yes, it'll happen about 5 years in the future for Mythics.
Okay, so this vampire, that's the major antagonist of this short story, is she a character that we're going to have reference to in upcoming Mythic stories?
Probably. Maybe something along the lines of a mention, but... Or maybe even expanding a story in the future, but it's an interesting story since I get to show in this short story the cases that I'm not going to have time to do for Mythics, the series.
Gotcha. Well, it's sort of like a side story, like a guidon. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Like this panel here, where the guy is just like giving this guy a knuckle sandwich. The sense of like foreshortening, action. You got the motion lines on his arm here. You have his blood spurting out of his mouth. You have his cheek being compressed because he took a shot. The fist here looks very solid. This guy's expression looks like an expression that you would make if someone took like a series of shots of your face and took one of the middle frames that didn't look very good. And he's like in the middle. He's like in the middle of making an expression, and yeah, this sense of perspective here is really cool too. The action lines are really dynamic, and they're all centered around the point of impact, like they should be. So Dylan's really got some stuff here. I was telling Dylan when he was showing me these works in progress that keeps this up, I'm going to get him a script because I want him to do an Adobe Kroger short story.
Yay!
So, and he even said like he gets the style I'm going for, which is sort of like dark noir, Sin City-esque, very sharp blacks and very sharp contrasting whites, and he gets it. So I'll probably keep this up. I'll probably get you a story to draw if you're interested.
Yes.
Absolutely. So yeah, Dylan's really one of the hardest working artists in our Discord, aside from our teams, I think. And I'm really happy to see how far he's come.
Honestly, but the only one who really gives Dylan a run for his money is Nebel.
Oh, well, Nebel's in a class all his own. Like, I absolutely love his Founding Father chans. And I go on about those. I do want to see an Aaron Burr chan as soon as possible. I'm really,
All right, well,
I'm really curious to see how their relationship with Jefferson Chan would play out. Not Jefferson Chan, but Hamilton Chan would play out. Sorry.
oh, that's...
Well, as soon as he introduces Aaron Burr Chan, then Hamilton Chan has to bite the dust.
yeah,
You have to choose. You either have Hamilton Chan or you have Aaron Burr Chan. You can't have them both, or else one ends up dead.
from all the different stuff I've been reading. Well, anyway, let's get on with Mythics, and I'll talk about that a little
All
later.
the chans.
I want to see the epic fight scene between Kennedy Chan and never mind.
It's a
And
little
Lee Harvey
further down.
Oswald
Anyway,
Chan.
Lee Harvey Oswald Chan.
And then Ruby Chan's gonna come in and beat them both up.
The only epic fight. The epic fight is Andrew Jackson Chan versus everybody else.
Oh God.
No.
It's time for a
Washington Chan.
duel.
That's right.
I mean, it's a fact. Name a single person Andrew Jackson didn't pick a fight with.
All right, I'm having a hard time. I can't think of anything.
Poor
Anyway.
Kennedy Chan got isekai'd.
Oh no.
Moving on.
course,
United
Teddy
States of
Roosevelt.
America, the Isekai.
Of course, Teddy Roosevelt Chan though took a bullet and survived.
Spoilers, Brett. Spoilers.
I would really love
If-
to stick around, but I have a bullet in my body.
I'll have to keep this short. 3 hours later.
It's like if like Kenshiro was like a president, and then suddenly a waifu.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say, mention to Switch's point. I'm pretty sure Andrew Jackson probably did challenge himself to a fight.
Well, if he got drunk
he
and
was
caught
more
himself
likely
in a
drunk
mirror,
a lot.
if he caught himself in front of a mirror, I'm sure he did. If he was drunk,
Probably.
It's like a cat, and he's got 2 pistols, so he can give the other him a gun to fight him with.
They should make an anime of this.
I think Neville's working on it.
Neville, I think Neville's making a graphic novel of it.
Oh yeah, he is.
I would pay for that.
I absolutely
Jackson.
would too. So,
Oh man.
real quick, back to Dylan's comic here. This panel here where you see the couple going at it, that has actually happened in nightclubs I've been to that weren't even fetish clubs. People just don't care. They just pick a dark corner and they just go nuts. It's great. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
They just have sex in public.
Well, they don't go full on, but, you know, they do everything up to and including dry humping. It's glorious. Anyway, so there's that. So check out, Corona Kings. There's a whole bunch of cool work in it, but most importantly, it's got this short
I'll
story
link-
by Dylan.
I'll link to the download since that's free.
Yep. I'm gonna do
Yeah,
a proper
think
review
Matt-
of Dylan's short story here when I have a chance this
I
weekend.
think Matt did a great job with the overall story.
It's
like,
very
I was really-
concise. It gets the job done in just a few pages. And I like how it wraps up too. Yeah, Matt definitely knows what he's doing there.
For those of you watching, Brett just put the link to Corona Kings in the chat.
Thank you. Yeah, check it out. There's a lot of stuff in there. Not just comics, like Dylan said. There's stories and drawings and everything in there. So check it out.
Yeah.
And it's free. And it's free.
Yeah, there's a list of what comics are on what page. Mine's on page 29 through 36.
Yep.
No, 30. I think so.
Just open it in a PDF
Yeah.
viewer and type in page 9, type in 29, and there you go. Get right to Dylan's comic.
Yep.
So, anyway, I'm like I said, it's been an interesting week. Seeing how our single campaign experiment was working. 33 backers is pretty impressive, and just kind of keep pushing it and try new things, and we'll get this book over the line, and Mythics issue 2 will be fulfilled. We're all ready to fill this thing much faster this time around. So hopefully, if Corona-chan is going to release our printer, then we will be able to just turn this around maybe in 2 to 3 weeks after the book's done at most. I've been running experiments with them for the past several months, fulfilling our Patreon variants over on our Patreon, and they turn stuff around really fast. So very happy with them. Speaking of our Patreon, we're up to 31 patrons right now. For the last couple of weeks, Brett and I have been putting out little audio podcasts about between 2 to 5 minutes long, and they just talk about little principles that guide our lives or little thoughts that we have, and hopefully everyone's enjoying them. We have about I think I just put up the 17th one, so yep, and we got 17 podcasts up right now, and we also have 26 work in progress images, and that includes Changeling and Adobe Kroger and Mythics. So if you want to see where we're going and what we're up to, Adobe Kroger's up to about 11 inked pages right now for issue 2, and a lot of them are up here on the Patreon, so you can get that for $5 a month. If you can only give us $1 a month, you get all the podcasts, and there's a new one going up of those every single day, whether it's me or Brett. Brett just turned in like 4 of them at once the other day, and I was like, "Great, that's awesome." So
all on my way to work too.
yeah, and that's great. You're making good use of your time there while you're commuting.
Although it was kind of noisy because I had my wipers on, was raining.
Yeah, well, not much I can do about that. It's fine. It added like a little air of authenticity to it. And the important thing is what you were talking about anyway. And I think you made some very good points. I'm very happy with what you've been putting up there. So yeah, while the Kickstarter campaign is progressing, we are still trying to build up a steady monthly income on the Patreon. That is our ultimate goal. We would far prefer to give monthly content based on monthly income rather than run like a quarterly Kickstarter campaign. We have set a goal here, and we've budgeted out exactly based on how fast our teams work and how much they need to produce a standard issue. And we have set a goal up that we are inching our way ever towards, very slowly, but we will get there. And our goal is to be able to pay our artists to produce at least 1 issue of each book every 3 months. So you'll get 4 new Mythoverse comics a year from each the titles. And we think it's doable. We just got to keep pushing and building up our community here. And when people find us, they're enthusiastic. We just got to get the word out and keep proving that we're reliable and got good content. So and I think we've got that. Just takes patience. Like, I don't want us to be a firework anyway. I don't want us to blast onto the scene, make a lot of noise, and disappear. You know, I want us to build a nice solid skyscraper that we can all live in and make a good living at. So
See, I was going to make my tire fire analogy.
a tire fire, yeah, that works too.
Just goes on forever, and attempting to stop it just makes it go longer.
Hey, you know what? I'll take that too. That's fine. You cannot get rid of us. We will always be here. Anyway, thanks for linking the Patreon, Shirtless Yoda. Appreciate that.
No problem.
All right, folks. So we are coming up on about 9:40. Typically, I start up a game around 10 o'clock. I don't have much else to talk about tonight aside from the Mythics Kickstarter and Corona Kings. But I think we've said all that we need to say for that. So if everyone's okay, I'm going to go ahead and start up a game, and we'll enter the free-form portion of the stream, and you guys can discuss whatever comes to mind, as long as it doesn't get us kicked off.
That could be just about anything. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think last week we just spent an hour talking about various historical facts about the U.S. and about the Founding Father chants. So
that was pretty fun.
The Founding Father chants are so awesome, and I really want to see that made into something.
I'm mostly trying lately. I'm trying to hammer out what exactly that something is.
I know it's easier said than done. I get it.
Do you think we?
What you have is a cool concept, but you're at the point where you're like thinking, okay, great, what do I do with it? And I understand.
Yeah. Honestly,
I get that all the time.
Honestly, I could see that easily being a good graphic novel.
Yeah, I was thinking of one of the ideas that I had, and this was from it was from one of my followers on Twitter.
The first Continental Changris.
Changris. Okay, that's good. I have to admit that is good.
Actually, here's a
trade. James Stern, don't steal.
Here's a question though: are they all gonna have their names just with Chan at the beginning, or are you gonna change their names around to be more feminine sounding?
No, I'm not going to change the names at all. It's just Washington Chan or Adams Chan. It's just they would be their full names, but with Chan at the end of it.
And that's the joke, and it works that way.
It's just silly and fun. But yeah, one of my followers who really liked this concept suggested like making just a full graphic novel about Adams and Jefferson's relationship because of how interesting that is. And yeah, I totally make a whole book just about their relationship because that's really fascinating.
Well, do that and frame it in the Continental Congress when they were drafting Declaration of Independence and then Articles of Confederation.
Yeah, I just got done watching the my friends and I every week lately when we started this project. I think one of them might be in the chat right now. we started watching the old John Adams HBO series, and we just did the episode with the Continental Congress and drafting the Declaration of Independence. It was pretty great. It also involved a smallpox inoculation, which was probably why it had to be on HBO.
I would definitely pay for this. As a history nerd, give me more.
You got if you can Apple, see if you can track down the History Channel miniseries Sons of Liberty.
Oh yeah, I'll probably start consuming that next because
I think it's
I've been
only 3 episodes.
yeah I've been just gorging myself on history lectures for the past few months, and it's been fascinating. So I've been having a hard time figuring out which Chan to do next, especially because I'm trying to figure out like what the format for this project is going to be. Part of me wants to do like a full graphic novel for some of it, but I also want to do like 4 comas to upload to Twitter regularly. Just little gag strips about random topics about the founding fathers. So
no reason you can't do both.
Yeah. Because the founding father chans are probably they're the most popular thing on my Twitter. Like they do better even than my fan art stuff.
They're your most popular content, so yeah, might as.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're,
So
fuck. I don't know if you get like a merch store or something, but you could probably see about turning them into shirts or something. I guarantee you, people would buy that.
oh yeah, I should probably get started on that kind of thing. Maybe make little chibi versions for them to be on stickers.
Oh no, the chibi chance.
Hail to the chibi chance.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not looking to spend any money, I think Redbubble is probably your best bet for that.
I'll definitely give that a look. Oh yeah. Drew is in here. He's one of the guys I watched the series with. Hi, Drew.
Hey, Drew.
Yeah, and he says Ben Franklin is played by Hank from Breaking Bad. Yes, he is correct.
Oh yeah, he's wonderfully snarky in that show. It's great.
He is such a fantastic actor.
Oh yeah.
I was very, very happy to see him make an appearance in Better Call Saul.
All right. Oh yeah.
Does anyone remember his appearance from Total Recall though?
Oh yeah, he was the guy with the messed up face.
Sup, Switch? Oh man.
Yeah,
Switch Point I know from Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Switch.
I have friends in many places. Speaking of many places, there was a project I worked on that got released fairly recently. I did a collaboration with the Drawing Talk Discord.
Oh, nice.
And they did this like 2020 comic anthology. Actually, Dylan talking about the Corona Kings made me think of that. And I contributed I wanted to really challenge myself and only gave myself 2 pages to tell a story. And me and Pointman Comics worked together on a story in there. And I think it turned out pretty fun. I can throw the link in the chat for the anthology if y'all are cool with that.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
Right.
Please do.
This is the stream of links. As soon as something's mentioned, we just slap it in the chat.
Absolutely.
Sure, why not?
Lonks, so many lonks. There's the that's the 2020 Draw and Talk anthology.
Hey, shameless self-promotion, right?
Oh yes. I have no shame. I'm not even wearing a shirt. What up,
That's nice to know.
Nah, I'm kidding. Or am I?
No, take off your. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
See, now one of the things that I've been thinking about for the Founding Father chants was because Brett brought it up last week is Joseph Warren, I think.
Yep.
The first martyr of the revolution, I believe, is
Yep.
his big title. I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out a good way to present that because I'm like,
He was a doctor. There's your
Yeah.
angle.
he's a doctor, and part of me is like, do I really want to advertise him being the first martyr of the revolution, or do I really want to twist the knife and give a real emotional gut punch when it actually happens?
I would go with the gut punch thing.
I like
Absolutely gut punch.
that. I love.
Serves a dual
gut
purpose of
punch.
being educational while being emotionally memorable. You won't forget about him.
Yep. I guess I'll just leave it out when I post. Leave out the first martyr of the revolution thing when I post it.
Yeah, just mentioned that Joseph Warren was a doctor and one of the founding members of the Sons of Liberty.
Yep.
I'm in one of those matches
Hey.
where the killer doesn't care.
Oh, that sounds
Oh,
fun.
that's boring.
That's no
look.
challenge.
Just sort of standing there. Oh, that sucks. Oh, man.
What's
He's
your
not even trying.
That's no fun. Come on. Come on.
Jump in his face. Maybe he'll do something if you
Kill me.
You can't.
dance for him.
That's the problem. You can't attack.
Oh, man.
Jump around.
You know, I'm gonna go on a limb and say he's AFK.
Possibly. Just to rub it in, I'm going to
What?
repair this generator right in front of him.
Yeah, look.
Really?
That guy is totally AFK.
Possibly, yeah.
Yes,
Really?
Denise, we know you were in Discord the whole time.
Well, we will continue talking about you behind your back anyway.
You're
I'm just looking
So how-
over here because I don't know what to say.
Oh man.
Drew said, Hail Chan's only regret is she has but one life to give for her country.
Just one.
Denise is regretting that she missed her opportunities to make fun of Dan in the chat.
Well, you had your chances and they're gone.
She said, old man Dan, back in my day, they used to play Rocksteady and Aha in the clubs.
I'm not that old. I was too young to go to clubs when those songs were big.
So what did they play in your clubs?
Well, let me see.
It was the 90s. Take your bet.
Yeah, it would have
early
been.
or late?
It would have been mid to late 90s.
Okay.
That was when I was having my Larry King appearance.
Oh God, it's him again!
I'll give you.
Here we go.
I'll give you an idea.
Don't you have allegations to deny?
What allegations?
Exactly.
Something involving a something Tara Reid.
Who let Joe into the chat again?
God
Did he
damn
just
it.
wander in here by
Kermit.
accident?
Kermit, you need to
Yes.
drive out the. You need to drive out the Joe.
All right,
Wait,
listen.
wait.
My mistake was putting Sweetums on security. The motherfucker keeps getting distracted. I'm gonna pop a cap in his ass. Show him what happened to Miss Piggy.
I have an idea. Okay. I want to see Joe Biden versus Kermit the Frog, but it's the line from JoJo Part 3.
Oh no.
What?
To become
Donna,
a JoJo reference.
to give you an idea, one of the songs would have been Machine Head by Bush.
I like references to Joe. I like them a lot. And I like it when kids feel up my leg.
Joe, is that something you want to be admitting on the air?
Jesus Christ, Joe, go home.
Gotta run, don't make fun of me. I have to put the baby to bed, of course, we know. Kyle has to go to sleep.
Of course. We'll just make fun of her behind her back in front of her.
She'll just check the feed and then make fun of you on Twitter.
You're expecting a voice chat, but it was me, the comment section.
I think we should start a tally of every time Dylan makes a JoJo reference. I think we're
I
at
can't
2
help
right
it, I
now.
just- Okay, I gotta go. I'll be right back.
Oh, there's the end of the JoJo references for now.
Oh, I'm not counting on it. I expect more.
Don't count me out. I'm always here for a reference. My good friend Barack, he referenced me the other day.
I
And
see.
I'm proud to take his endorsement for the U.S. Senate.
Well, I'm glad you accepted your friend's endorsement, Joe. It was very
Endorsement?
is very
I said reference.
gracious of him. Oh, well, we're choosing our words very precisely, aren't we?
Okay.
Yes,
Dan, if it
is
was
very important. It is very important, or else you'll come off as a complete and utter fool.
Well, of course, we wouldn't want that to happen. That'd be really unfortunate.
Okay, so Dan, if it's the mid-90s, Machine Head would have been one of the songs they play at clubs. What about Fucking in the Bushes by Oasis?
Oh, all over the place. That was very popular.
Wait, that legitimately was a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That was huge in the clubs.
You've never heard Fucking in the Bushes, just Salem?
It was a very anomalous track for that whole album. Like, it didn't sound like anything else. And it was obviously popularized by Snatch. And it had like a clip from this guy that was yelling at a bunch of people that were making a ruckus at a music festival, like a year after Woodstock. It's like, we put this festival on, you bastards. You go to hell. It was great. Fantastic song. It was described as being like suddenly getting caught in a riot when that song starts up.
Well, yeah, either that or Champagne. Actually, I think Champagne Supernova makes more sense in a bar.
In a bar, yes, but you don't play that when you want people to dance.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's me, Donald Trump.
Are you here to make a JoJo reference?
You're approaching me, Joe Biden.
That's 3.
Dylan's trying to do a Trump voice, huh?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? We have the privilege of having the President of the United States on our stream.
Yeah, and I think he needs to come and help Joe find his way out.
Personally, I work for President Obama.
Instead of running away,
Who invited Zap Brannigan?
I thought it was supposed to be John's Kennedy voice.
Jesus, anybody can come into the stream.
I was trying to do Skipper from Madagascar, but it does work well with Zap Brannigan.
And anybody can get on this stream. Fuck.
Actually, how many Billy West voices can you do, John?
Billy West.
Zap Brannigan's voiced by Billy West.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
I mean, half that show is voiced by Billy West.
And I have to say, Zach, I'm a huge fan. I've been sharing your work with many, many women. I especially like the Death by Snoo Snoo.
Get away from me, you senile old creep.
Wait a minute. What do you mean by that, Joe? I don't think I understand.
I don't think I want to understand.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point.
I just have to say, you're not going to figure out the best end of the snow globe if you just go around and you always drink coffee from Jamaica. It just doesn't work.
This poor
Well,
killer's
glad
getting
you
lit by
told
2
me.
people at once.
I'm kind of tempted to draw like a JoJo version of Joe Biden, but it's stand called Corn Pop.
That bastard's doomed. Oh.
Alright, got 4.
Okay, but Joe, put Lucky Joe in the basement for a little while. How is everyone doing tonight?
Well, we got $1,000 on the Kickstarter so far.
Yeah.
All right.
On our first week, so that's good. That's 25%. I'm optimistic.
Mythoverse is on the roll.
Yep.
Ah, son of a bitch.
We're making a comeback.
Damn it! I'm not.
I
on
know
fire
it's a real
tonight.
shame.
Dan, come on.
I can't. I blew 2 skill checks in a row. I'm just embarrassed right now.
Well, it's
Switch is
okay. Well,
Switch
from
is
what
asking
you've
her the
said
president.
Go on,
Switch is
Buck.
asking her the president's gonna fight over who is best waifu. Current will do commentary.
All right,
Hey,
well,
Joe, I'll let you off for a minute. I like the waifus. I like them a lot.
okay. Which one is best waifu? Which one's best
Ah.
waifu, Joe?
For Rakaka.
You're going to have to provide a sauce for that, Joe. I don't know who the hell that is.
For Rakaka Obama. She's my waifu.
Oh,
They're doing Joe Biden versus Kermit the Frog.
great.
Okay, go back.
I'm
and
going to
listen,
have to
Joe.
look this up. I'm going to have to go to the internet and see if there is a Barack Obama waifu.
Okay, so there's the opinion from Joe Biden. Mr. President, what's your opinion? Who's the best waifu?
I have a lot of waifus. I have the absolute best waifus. Nobody has great waifus like I do.
Well,
Can you be more
Say,
specific?
I just have to say, my favorite waifu is Monica.
He's gonna say. I mean, Donald's obviously gonna side with Melania. You know, Yoda. Just saying.
I'm rather disappointed at the results for Obama-chan. It's not promising.
Yeah, I looked it up and I was actually kind of relieved.
I'm deeply disappointed. I'll show some of you guys what I found here. It's I've seen better. I've seen way better.
It's just mostly Obama with anime eyes.
What the?
That's it.
This one and this one. Man, this is like
Sad.
physical disappointment. I expected more from you, internet. Get with it, man.
Wait,
Well,
hold on.
They
It
were
did
not
get
looking at the
Joe
right.
Biden endorsement.
Maybe we're just not looking in the right spot. Maybe we need to check the poll board.
Wait, hold
Are
on.
you
Sure.
We can ask Joe where we should be looking.
Hey,
Unlike,
Joe.
unlike you, Obama, I have an official anime version of.
This is
my
true.
show.
Although it's
Hold on, let me look.
it's
Wait,
Yes,
also it's also a little disappointing.
No, look.
I have to say,
That one's
Trump,
okay.
I think it's very fitting that the last anime you were in was Devil Man, because you are the devil.
He was also in Death Note.
We
Well,
don't
the
talk
manga.
about that. We don't talk about that.
Of course, I
Oh,
tried,
and the-
I
that
tried to
was
spell out the
cringe.
Death Note.
There was
I tried to
another
spell-
one he was in. I forget the name of it though.
Unfortunately, the person who bought off the Death Note, her name was Hillary Clinton. I'm sure you know who she is.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah.
The other one I'm thinking of is called Inuyashiki. That's it. That's the one. Inuyashiki.
Well, the best Donald Trump cameo was in Gintama.
That's not even, and it's not even him. It's just,
Yep.
it's just Katsura with a mustache.
Look, they have him do the political, all the
It's just-
political jokes.
And he just yells, "I'm not. My name isn't Donald Zerov. It's Katsura." He doesn't even commit to the bit.
Nope. But then again, he also played the role of Will Smith as Obama.
Oh,
Yep.
Wait, Chancellor, I did that too.
Yep. Except they actually did look like Will Smith.
Okay, I think Dan is going up against a newbie here because this guy isn't even picking him up.
Either that or he's just taunting me. Because both of us are in the dying state, so we can't do anything.
He's trying to kill you. He's trying to kill you again. This guy's a noob. He's not even picking you up.
I don't know. He's messing around.
Told you.
He's messing around.
No.
Man, he sucks.
It's a noob mistake because, as Matt can attest to this, the first time we played Dead by Daylight, did I hang you after? Hang you after? No, I didn't.
Nope, you
I
thought
did
I
not
was
hang.
dead.
Yeah, I did not. I did not know that I was supposed to hang Matt onto a hook. So after crippling Matt, I just left him because I thought he was dead.
Monster.
To be honest, I thought that you knew, but was just being a monster. In character monster, of course.
Yeah, there is a perk or an offering that lets you just flat out kill the survivor, but it's a special thing.
I have done
that
it
you need
before.
to get earned.
The most horrifying one is one of the samurai slasher.
Oh, the Oni killer?
Yep.
He's a pain in the ass. I don't know if I
The-
hate him more or the nurse. I hate going against the nurse.
There's the new one, the one with the harpoon gun.
Oh, he's annoying as hell. Yeah, because he can really.
Matt said Freddy used to be fucking broken.
I don't see him
Yep.
very often, and I haven't bought that DLC, so I've never had a chance to play him.
Well, he's no longer invisible.
Oh,
Which I just, as soon as I heard the children sing, oh god, I can't see him. I don't know where he's coming from.
Well, wasn't the gimmick that he was invisible unless you were in dream state?
Yep. But in dream state, he gets to see you anywhere. You can't hide at all.
oh, he sees your aura basically.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Like
fun.
I said, he's broken.
That is broken.
Oh,
Well, at
God,
least he's not invisible this time.
Yeah.
I just saw what Dylan posted in general.
Oh boy.
But I have to imagine Jason's gotta be pretty broken because Jason's whole thing is that he's invincible. Like you
Well,
can throw it.
If you play
Like you could
Friday
drop a
13th,
nuke on Jason.
if you play the Friday 13th
You drop a
game,
nuke. I have not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, he can teleport, and he can do like an Evil Dead vision thing. So that explains why, especially in Part 8, he does obviously have the ability to teleport. I mean, he
Yeah,
just...
like I said, you could drop a nuke on Jason and he'd just keep coming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, actually, that is something I'm willing. That's a hill I'm willing to die on. Jason is a fucking broken slasher.
Now that you've said that, Brett, I want to see that movie. Jason survives an atomic bomb.
Well,
He'll turn into Jacezilla.
oh no.
I think what would, or he'd be more like a super mutant out of Fallout 4.
Yeah,
I mean, he already kind of is. Yeah, at least mechanically.
Jason mad. Teenagers keep banging. Jason can't fuck anymore.
Yeah. His dialogue would be in all caps with no punctuation.
Nice.
Yeah, I could.
Teenagers drink too much.
They're turning the frogs gay.
Oh man, is anyone in the panel here a movie buff?
See,
Well, I was already talking with you last night. I watched Train to Busan last night, and I was very surprised how much I enjoyed it. Because normally I shy away from foreign entertainment. I'm very much I'll stick with the American stuff. But I was really surprised at like how well structured it was. Because normally when I watch a horror movie, especially zombie movies, I don't expect too much depth. But there was a lot there in Train to Busan.
If you're willing to give more Asian films a chance, and you want to go down the horror angle, check out the original Ju-on the Grudge.
That's one that's on my radar.
Yeah, stay away from the American version though.
There's also some pretty good Korean horror movies.
Well, Train to Busan was Korean, so.
Oh.
I was telling Yoda this too. You gotta watch the other film that guy directed, Snowpiercer.
Yeah, I saw Snowpiercer. I enjoyed it.
Same.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I
now
thought it
they're
was
turning
pretty
into a
good.
TV series.
Oh,
I don't understand how.
Well, it's based on a French. I think it's a French comic.
Yeah, it's I thought it was a graphic novel.
Yeah, there's
I thought it was a book.
2 or 3 volumes in it, so it could be a straightforward adaptation.
Yeah, that's gonna be really cool to see actually, because I've actually read the novel, and it's a little as hardcore as that one film was. The book itself goes a little further than what the film was going to do.
So when you're saying Snowpiercer, are you talking about the 2014 one?
Yep.
Starring Chris Evans?
Yep, Chris Evans.
Oh, okay. It was directed by the same guy. Ah.
You're gonna love that film.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I went right from Snowpiercer to playing Frostpunk.
That's a very the word I was looking for. Reasonable transition.
Yeah, it's a similar concept. And I don't think I've ever played a game that tries to throw acid all over your emotions more than Frostpunk, at least in the last year.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, you're going to become a monster. It's very hard to avoid. Especially in the DLC.
I did not do the DLC.
Yeah, the DLC is just heartbreaking. That's where you actually have to build the generator, and the whole game revolves around labor and management, and workers being exploited and all that stuff. And towards the end of the game, it's almost impossible to avoid literally throwing people into the fire to get it done. And you end up hiring convicts that you sacrifice. It's pretty gnarly. Oh, I rocked right into the killer. Idiot.
Yeah, Yoda, if I'm not mistaken, Snowpiercer is actually on Netflix.
I will have to give it a whirl.
Snowpiercer is also a really good example of visual storytelling.
I will be taking notes while I watch it.
It's also a good example of being a political film without beating you over the head with it. Like it's intertwined into the story. I mean, the symbolism is obviously on the nose, but it's like, never do you feel like you're being preached, you know?
And that's the key.
Yeah, I think that's what people complain about when they say get politics out of my insert entertainment medium. It's not that they don't want the politics to be there, it's that they don't want to be preached to. I think most people are perfectly fine with there being politics, even politics leaning very heavily to one side, as long as it's not preaching that is the correct way of thinking, or that it has to be this way, or it's not moralizing.
And more importantly, so it doesn't make you feel as though you're a terrible person for disagreeing.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
because I think that was kind of what it was like when I watched Joker. It has a very specific. I think it's more social than political message, and it is very heavy-handed in its theme. But I don't feel like at any point it's preaching to you or preaching at you. It's just this is a take on reality.
This is what could happen if all these elements
think
come
that's-
into play.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of They Live in a way. Because
I need to watch that. I'm a
They Live is a
huge John
classic.
Carpenter fan. Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
huge John Carpenter fan. And so I've been slowly working my way through his filmography. So the first film I saw by him was his rendition of The Thing, which is still one of my favorite movies of all time.
That's a masterpiece. I love The Thing.
Has anyone read the John Carpenter series of comics?
He wrote
Even
comics?
though
He's got these lines of comics where he sets up a story, gives them to a writer, and they make comics from it. They're right now doing a sequel to the comic out of the series Vortex, which is basically The Thing if you threw in Dead Space as well.
Ooh.
Is there a medium of entertainment that John Carpenter doesn't have his fingers in? He's a composer, he's a director, he's probably written some books, he's a gamer. Like,
I don't think he's
unironically. Okay. Well, we got
he,
him.
he also did a trailer for Fear 3.
Oh, here's something for you. Do you want to know why he wanted Roddy Piper for They Live?
No, why?
Well, back in the day, John Carpenter was a huge wrestling fan.
Well, that makes sense. They Live probably has the best fighting scene in a back alley over putting on glasses I've ever seen.
Too specific, but all right.
It really is. Just when you think it's over, it starts up again. It's like an overly long gag.
But yeah, that's why he got Roddy Piper. And Denise is back in the chat.
Hey Denise, you want to know if this was a leaked game? And Jeremy says it's Dead by Daylight. Yeah.
No, Jeremy thought it was the leaked Last for Us.
I don't know why, but I just had a horrible idea pop into my head.
Eh.
And it's so horrible that I might actually do it. So, I've been doing Let's Plays. I just wondered, what if Joe Biden did a Let's Play of The Last of Us Part 2?
Oh my god.
It would be
be
hysterical. It would be hysterical. I'd say that. I can say that much.
You might get taken down by YouTube though.
It might.
You can always upload to BitChute.
What's a Sunny? What's a Sunny? This Sunny is telling me that I can't stream their game.
Took me a second.
So, okay, so this here's Joe Biden, and I'm streaming The Last of Us Part 2 on YouTube.3o.3o, and if you haven't played the first game, I forgot what it's about, but we're gonna go to the second, and so you got Ellie.
Something tells me that Joe Biden, having played the game before, wouldn't help him at all anyway.
Well, I think he'd play just multiplayer, just like everyone else.
Fucking hell.
Joe doesn't need help. I got this all on my own.
That's right.
As he's being held up by 2 bodyguards.
And a teleprompter.
There's another thing I really like about John Carpenter. He has a tendency to work with the same actors on multiple projects. So you have Kurt Russell is probably the easiest example. He's in The Thing, the Escape From series. He was in Big Trouble in Little China. Might be more. And then I can't remember his name. The guy who plays Dr. Loomis in Halloween.
That was
Malcolm McDowell.
no, the original. And his name.
My bad.
Donald Pleasance. That's it.
Donald Pleasance, yeah. So Donald Pleasance was in the Halloween franchise, and then
Jamie
he
Lee
also
Curtis,
starred
too.
in Escape. I'm not sure if Jamie Lee Curtis was in any other Carpenter films, though.
No, I meant she was in both Halloween movies.
No, I'm
Actually-
saying he's worked with the same actors on multiple
Yeah.
franchises.
Yeah.
So like
Oh, yeah,
Donald
and he-
Pleasance in Halloween and Escape from L.A. and then
That was Escape from New York.
Escape from New York.
Escape from
That's what I meant.
He also had Keith David in both The Thing and They Live.
Yeah.
Fun
I
fact,
just find it
most
interesting when directors work with the same actors in like multiple franchises. It's kind of like a partnership.
Okay, I'm back.
All right, welcome back. Fun
Keith
fact.
David's another actor that I have a shrine to.
Oh.
Well, fun fact about Ghosts of Mars is that it was also supposed to be another Snake Plissken movie.
Huh.
Unfortunately, the studio didn't want that.
Now it kind of makes sense the way they had. Now it kind of makes sense why Ice-T seems so unnatural in that movie. It was not written for him.
No, it was written for Kurt Russell as Snake Plissken.
Very
It
interesting.
would have been titled Escape from Mars.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
Donald Pleasance was, that's an actor, not the film. Escape from New York was another film I saw recently that I was surprised that I really enjoyed. I was expecting kind of a, I don't know,
That's
not
movie-
great action movie, but I was surprised that the story was actually pretty good.
And here's another surprise for you. John Carpenter made that movie in response to Watergate.
Yep, I knew that.
It's a movie I've watched my whole life, and almost never all the way through. I always would catch it at the same point on TV.
Denise says, "I think I'm the only person who has never seen a John Carpenter movie." Well, it's not the worst thing, Denise.
It's fine.
Denise, you got to get on that. At the very least, you got to watch The Thing.
At the very the
And
thing has some of the best
she has a
practical
thick-
effects you'll ever see.
I
That
don't
is
think she can watch
Rob
that with a
Bottin, right?
6-month-old baby.
Why not?
I don't know. Denise, are you comfortable with scarring Kyle with body horror?
That boy will never trust a dog again.
Oh my god, the dogs.
Or another person's stomach?
I actually held off on sharing the thing with Jen because she absolutely hates seeing dogs getting harmed in movies.
Oh,
Oh,
like,
she would hate
no.
Yeah,
Oh god. Oh god. Do not.
I showed her
That
John.
one?
I showed her John Wick, and she didn't care that he mowed down scores of men. But as soon as that dog got it, she was miserable.
Oh god. Not even. You don't. Let me guess. You guys don't have Old Yeller in the house, do you?
Nah, don't have the Old Yeller in the house, as far as I know.
To
But
this
she's
day,
fine
still one
with
of my
people getting
favorite-
massacred. She loves the Friday
I
the
can
13th
just-
movies, but she just
I don't
can't
know, I
stand
can
seeing
just-
animals getting hurt.
I just guarantee you put on Old Yeller, she'll just be inconsolable for like a week.
I know I was.
That will still go down as one of my favorite moments of all time in any movie ever.
God, like,
Is when, is when they call, when the repair guy calls the mob boss, and the other way around. The mob boss calls the repair guy and says, "Why'd you punch my son?" And he goes, "He killed a dog." He goes, "So?" He's like, "It was John Wick's dog." And his response is,
Oh.
"Oh."
Yeah, that movie had some of the best character building through the action I've ever seen.
And then
Denise says kids
kids
usually are not scared of horror movies. My mom says I enjoyed watching it when I was a kid, but I got scared when we were watching Rosemary's Baby as a family together, and my sisters got scared and screamed. From that day on, I was afraid of horror movies.
And Jeremy says John Wick is a dog lover's revenge fantasy. That's why it works. Yeah, you know, like my wife's cousin, who normally doesn't like action films, she really liked John Wick because of the fact that he blew away a bunch of dog killers.
And then it got even better when the mob boss then calls John Wick and says, "John, before you do," and he hangs up, and they're like, "What did he say?" "Enough."
Yeah, actually, I believe Denise because I remember I came across this one guy he's super famous in Brazil, and he's famous for like hosting I think like horror movies on TV or something. Denise knows what I'm talking about. I only remember this from one video that James Rolfe did on him. I'm not even gonna bother pronouncing that. It's in fucking Portuguese. But like I said, she knows what I'm talking about. That guy's, he's like famous to the point that if you're Brazilian, you've at least heard of him. Coffin Joe, that's his name. Yeah.
All right, so I was just thinking. Speaking of dogs, so my mom was out in the living room, and I was watching like the end of JoJo Part 3.
At 6.
And she was out there for the part with Iggy.
Oh God.
You know what? From now on, Dylan, you are a JoJo reference.
No. You gotta hear this.
Hear what?
We assumed there was more to the story.
Oh, right. She's like, why would they do that? I'm like, Mom, don't worry. It's the bad guy doing it. I kept telling her, because she was telling everybody, she's like, Dylan was watching the show and they kicked the dog to death. And I'm like, the bad guys did. She's like, I don't like that Dio. He killed that dog. I'm like, no, that was Vanilla Ice that killed Iggy. I'm like, and she's like, why is he named Vanilla Ice?
Why not?
Because you need a bad guy.
Because Hirohiko Araki likes naming all his characters after famous rock bands and musicians.
I mean, let's be real. If you're gonna name a villain after any musician, I think Vanilla Ice is a good start.
Yeah, I mean, I explained that to her, and she's like, that's stupid.
Did you retort with "Okay, Boomer"?
You probably should have.
No, I would have gotten in trouble.
Thrown out of the house.
No, she would only throw me out of the house if I told her I voted for Trump or something.
Oh boy.
Does he know?
I don't think Dylan's even voted in his first election yet.
No,
Yeah, I think he would have been too young.
I was 8. Let's see. I just turned 18, and I was 18 in 2016.
Ah.
Yeah, it was because I graduated that year. I can't imagine what school would have been like if seeing people with DTS.
Ooh boy.
Yeah, I know the education system is already, but thank God I got out of school before things got really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So has anybody picked up Trials of Mana?
I have not because I don't own a Switch.
I mean, you don't need to. It's on PC.
What is the game about?
It's are you know about the Mana RPG series?
Yeah.
I know
It's-
Secret of Mana.
Okay. Trials of Mana is after that, but it's not a direct sequel. It's kind of it's a pretty fun kind of cutesy action RPG where it's got a lot of replayability. You kind of pick a main character out of 6 of them, and then you give them 2 more people to join the party later. But you can basically like configure it in a bunch of different ways, and you essentially play through 6 different stories.
But is it as good as Manos, the Hands of Fate?
You know what? I would dare say it's along the same lines, if not better, than Manos, the Hands of Fate.
Are we,
That's
are we
a point
talking
of
about,
recommendation.
are we talking about the Manos, the Hand of Fate?
Yes, the Manos, the Hands of Fate.
Also known as Hands, the Hands of Fate.
That's right. Or Mangoes, the cans of fruit.
That's quite the comparison.
Yeah, we've. Oh god, this.
Or the
Sarah
can of
did it.
romance.
Okay, are we a mytho? Are we the community dedicated to the Mythoverse, or did we turn into another MST3K fan club?
It's hard not to like MS3 2K, at least the old school stuff.
I mean, I'll put it this way. When you guys were talking about Donald Pleasance, I had to admit to myself that the only thing I ever knew him from was Puma Man.
Oh God.
Well, if I bring up Lee Van Cleef, you're not gonna think Escape from New York or Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. You're gonna think Master Ninja 2.
Or Miles O'Keefe.
Thank
Master Ninja theme song.
how much O'Keefe.
Miles O'Keefe.
Gomez, I've invented the wheel.
I just had a flashback to I don't know why that reminded me of Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 1. Anybody see this?
I know that movie. I haven't seen it.
Oh, you gotta see it, man. It's one of Mel Brooks' best. I'm not kidding.
Oh, man.
Oh, nobody has seen it, eh? Ah.
I've seen bits of it.
Yeah, same here.
Remember the
Gotta
Jews
watch
in
the whole
Space
thing.
short at the end?
That would not go. That would not go.
No. It was hilarious, though. Little starships shaped like Stars of David. And they're shooting kosher cannons at the Goyim. It's fantastic.
Isn't Mel
Mel Brooks is Jewish, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
He's also still alive.
It's like
He's
90
also a
something.
World War II veteran.
And his son wrote World War Z.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
God,
And the Zombie Survival Guide.
I had a teacher that was like her favorite book was World War Z, and she was so pissed about the movie adaptation.
I don't blame her. The movie was like that had like the skeleton of the story at best, and it wasn't even then it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Go Dan, go kite the killer.
I
She also,
tried.
she also,
I tried.
she also
Oh, you
had-
tried?
I tried.
Well,
Caught
I'm
me at
watching the
the end.
stream on YouTube, so
Oh.
it's about 45 seconds to 2 minutes behind.
Gotcha. I kept it up for a little
Yeah,
while,
you
but
do
not this time.
Like, there were certain things from the movie I could recognize being like out of the book, but it practically I don't even understand why it was called World War Z. It wasn't the same story. Because
It's the same reason why they made Starship Troopers and not have the same story.
here's the difference, though. The movie was good.
As long as you knew what they were trying to do. Yeah, it was obviously a satire. A lot of people thought they were trying to take themselves seriously, which they definitely were not. Like
No, they weren't, but it's
similar message was there, but yeah, it was a very different story.
I mean, fuck, The Stanley Kubrick's take on The Shining was different from the book, but it was still good.
A lot of that had to do with his visual style, I think.
King
Like that-
didn't like it though.
He didn't like it at first. He warmed up to it.
That whole movie just makes you feel like nauseous. Like it really, the way it's shot and it's just unsettling. It's fantastic.
Oh,
But
but,
the-
if you
but
want
yeah.
to see, if you want to see like a so bad it's good, you got to see the Shining that King wrote for television. Whoa.
Oh. Yeah. Don't worry about it, Neo. We're glad you could show up. Definitely take care of yourself if you got a headache.
But yeah, I mean, like I could accept that the World War Z movie was different from the book, but it wasn't good. That's the problem.
Right.
If you ever do, I do recommend the audiobook version. It's got an all-star cast in it.
Oh yeah, I think that same. I don't know how long this was, but I think she made us listen to the audio version.
Yeah, the audiobook has Mark Hamill in it.
Oh wow.
He's a fantastic
She
voice
was
actor.
She was so weird. Like, she would say some of the most off-the-wall stuff. She also had like narcolepsy, and she even once fell asleep in the middle of class. Like, no joke.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
They let that lady be a teacher.
Yeah. She's the only teacher that really ever intimidated me.
The one that fell asleep in class.
Yeah, she was freaking crazy.
She has to get rested up for her outbursts.
She would tell me things like, if you, I don't know what she was, but she said, if you do this thing, then people in motorcycles will circle around your house. I'm like,
Huh?
I had like no idea what.
She was. How are you scared of that lady? She just sounds really weird.
Trust me, just she was always breathing down people's necks, not literally.
Okay,
but,
that could get weird. That could get a little bit creepy. I can understand.
mean, not literally, but not like Joe. I don't mean it literally like Joe Biden, but.
Like just it was but it's still uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. It was so long ago. Just some of the weird shit she did. I'm probably misremembering some of it, when I think about it. But it's like she was freaking weird. She was just. I don't know.
I don't think I had a weird teacher. I had a bunch of lazy teachers, though.
Oh yeah, those are common.
I had some pretty. When I was in elementary, I had some pretty fucked up gym teachers. There's this thing we did called the pacer run. Where we had to run back and forth. I was a little fat kid. I had a hard time. When I wasn't able to do that, all the other kids in the gym got to play while they made me run around. While everyone else got to play. And another time, I was very autistic at the time, too. And they would chase me around with these realistic-looking fake bugs. And that was the first time I ever ran out of class, and I had my homeroom teacher call my mom, and my mom came down to the school.
Oh boy.
She was like, so pissed. She's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" then they would never meet me again.
Of course.
Cause no, my mom can be scary when she's mad.
Mm-hmm.
God, that was so long ago. I was like 10.
You can see what Neville shared.
No, what was
The
it?
15th commandment.
Oh, that's
The
from
15th commandment.
That's from the History of the World Part 1.
Yep, you still got it.
Hey everyone, I got the 15
10 Commandments.
10 Commandments.
I've seen that.
That was very funny.
Okay.
I love Mel Brooks.
It's really hard not to.
Oh gosh, and then there was the part where the characters all come to a river and they're like, how do we get across? And then Moses is sitting right there, he just raises his hands and the river's part and they walk across. And then when everybody's across the river, you see from behind him that Moses is being robbed by a guy. He's got a knife to his back.
Yeah.
And then they'll go into like, I'm not gonna spoil everything, but okay, I gotta share this. Then there's a segment where Mel Brooks is a waiter at the Last Supper, and he walks in and he hears Jesus say, "One of you will deny me, one of you will betray me," and then Mel Brooks yells, "Judas!" And Judas is like, I'm so sorry. He goes, "Judas, would you like to try the soup? It's on special today."
Holy shit.
Nice.
So yeah, you gotta see it. Okay, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. I saw
That's
that
fine.
link in. Oh my gosh, I love that film.
Yeah.
If we want to talk weird, a while back, earlier in the week, Xavier and I came across a map that was weirdest food from every state. Okay, my home state of Washington has geoduck, which I found out is basically a big clam.
It's a giant clam.
If I recall,
Yeah.
Florida had gator, and I have had
It
gator
does.
tail.
Gator tail.
Gator tail is very, very good if it's prepared right.
Now, I know
love
that
alligator.
Matt, Salem, and Yoda are all in Michigan. Yours is Detroit-style coney dogs.
Which is weird because it's not a weird food. It's just a chili dog that's just prepared a little different.
Well, and also you got two places that make them, and both claim they're very original.
And
Well,
so
obviously
basically
we're
like
the
original Rays.
Also,
We're the
apparently,
original
geoduck is
because
pronounced
we're
as
better.
gooey.
Well,
But yeah, there's like two places in Detroit that make coney dogs, Nationals and Lafayette's, and both claim they did it first.
Nationals. That's the guys. And I will fight anyone who says other.
are we getting a fight today? Anyone gonna disagree?
You want to fight, boy?
No.
Okay, now, Dylan is in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They have rattlesnake.
Yes, we do.
A rattlesnake. How about you?
That sounds pretty good.
I mean, I don't have it.
I've never tried rattlesnake, but I've been alligator before.
Now, California, this one has Neville disappointed to no end. It is sushi Rito.
It's only partially true. Apparently, they've only got places that serve it in Long Beach and Sacramento. I want a sushi Rito. I want a giant ass nori roll or spicy tuna roll that's the size of a freaking Chipotle burrito. That's where I want. And I have to either go to Long Beach or Sacramento to get that. Sacramento is 6 hours away, and Long Beach is Long Beach.
Okay, so everything is it's wrong with Sacramento because it's too far. What's wrong with Long Beach?
It's kind of a weird place. Like I've always had I've had some friends that live there, and the thing that gets me about it is, depending on where you are, Long Beach is either one of those places that's bizarrely sanitized and upscale, or
Are we talking like gentrified?
sort of. That's not quite what I'm thinking. Like it looks kind of like that in some places, and in other places it's like ghetto, like super ghetto.
In the ghetto.
And there isn't much in between. And yeah, I generally just don't like going to Long Beach. It kind of shows that it's halfway between like LA and OC. Also, it's got the not Titanic haunting its shores every second. No, it's to be real, Long Beach has some cool stuff in it, but I would not go there to get something to eat because anywhere you go is probably really expensive.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a place on the boardwalk up in Seattle that serves, like, I think, that serves clams in a bucket. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're great, but I'm not gonna go all the way up to Seattle, just to get clams in a bucket.
Yeah. Probably get decent clams in a bucket someplace else.
Probably out in Tacoma. I mean, Tacoma's got a boardwalk too, though most of it's just for boats.
Oh my god, fucking Drew. Weirdest state food I ever had was a Dodger dog. It gave me kuru. Don't tell my mom that. My mom loves Dodger dogs.
Oh yeah, the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, yep. They exist, I think.
Your family are big Dodger fans, aren't they?
Mom's side is. My dad's more of an Angels guy. I'm a bit more of an Angels guy myself.
My family are all 49er and Lakers fans.
We just listed out baseball teams and Dylan.
Well, yeah, we're not really into baseball, so
You're all you're all forgetting the real sport.
Oh yes. Which one?
Pro wrestling.
Ah, of course.
No, hockey. Which has pro wrestling in it.
This is true. I mean, nobody in my family who's interested are Kings fans, so I guess we're all Ducks people.
Mighty Ducks.
Sadly, not called that anymore.
Just the Ducks.
I know that
They're just the Ducks now.
Yep, the Anaheim Ducks. But I love it every time you guys do the callback jerseys with the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim logo. Those are smooth.
Oh yeah, and the fucking Wild Wing mask. That shit's pretty good.
Oh god, yeah. But fun little fact: it was the Walt Disney Company that started that team.
Yep.
Of course.
And they sold them because they never thought they would win, and then a few years after they were sold, they won a Stanley Cup.
Amazing.
You know what's a little fun fact is do any of you remember the Mighty Ducks cartoon girl?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, here's a little fun fact. They would sometimes use that as their goal song, the theme of that show. Sometimes
That's
they
actually
would
pretty
play
cool.
that when they scored. And
That's actually pretty cool.
It's actually an awesome song when you listen to it.
Yeah, it is. It's just the actual show was kind of like,
weird.
I don't want to say it was bad, but it was very much of its day.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
The
but
designs are
it
pretty
shows
neat.
you
though.
how much Disney was trying to milk the Mighty Ducks brand as much as they could.
It was a little bit ridiculous. They came from a dimension where okay, they come from a planet which is full of ducks that play hockey. Okay, I can roll with that, but you're gonna tell me it's surrounded by an asteroid field shit that is made up of puck-shaped asteroids. Now you're pushing shit.
Hey, no. It
Hey,
makes up for
man.
it by having it makes up for it by having Tim Curry voice the villain.
Well, it
That's
also
true.
has Tony J and Clancy Brown in it.
Tim Curry was every villain.
That's right. That's how you know. That's how you know it's
Clancy
gonna
Brown
It's
was every other
unfortunate though
villain.
that Disney is going to be making another Mighty Ducks movie, and
No.
it is really bad with the information we've got so far.
No.
So
I already don't want to
apparently-
hear anymore.
So apparently, the
I
Mighty
don't-
Ducks are no longer the good guys. They're an all-boy team that is apparently demeaning to a girl team.
Never
Oh,
mind
God.
the fact that all three of the movies had a girl on the team.
Yeah, apparently now the Mighty Ducks are bad kids.
Oh
Of
boy,
course they're bad.
Oh,
They're
I hate,
boys.
I hated every single word you just said there, Salem.
You think that you think that I wanted to say that? It
You didn't
kills
have
me.
to.
It kills me that they're doing this to the Mighty Ducks.
Hey, let's see how
It's like
fast
hockey. It's hockey and 90s Disney. It's like two of my favorite things, and Disney is destroying it.
Hey, let's see how fast YouTube can kill the stream if we mention the game that should not be mentioned.
Let's not.
Yeah,
We
we're
already-
almost
I got
done
it.
already.
I got some-
already
I got
mentioned
something.
that, and I'm gonna be doing
I
a
got-
playthrough.
I got something for you guys. Okay, so you know that Seattle's baseball team is called the Mariners. So with that in mind, what do you think their mascot is?
I know
John
what it is, so
Mahoney.
I won't say it.
The Submariner kind of thing.
It's called Mariner Moose.
Amazing. got a picture?
You can look and
Sounds like a
look up.
Canadian team.
Just do a quick Google search. Look up Mariner Moose.
I'm making me.
I swear to God.
Did I know that I've told Brett this, but are you guys aware of what they think the Seattle team will be named for the NHL?
It was either I think it was either the Kraken.
Yep, it was not Kraken. The rumor is that'll just be called Seattle Kraken.
So what? Everybody's a tentacle or what?
I guess so.
I mean, I'm actually down for that. That's actually a really cool name.
Pretty neat.
Somewhere, a Japanese artist is taking notes.
Good. They should.
Well, there are some hockey players coming over from Japan.
Really.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I thought that
actually,
would-
there's a player on the wings who's I can't remember, but one of his parents has some Japanese heritage. His name is Haro
Huh.
Hiroshi.
And here, I thought they were just importing the Japanese baseball players. The Japanese love baseball, but
They do.
I'm still waiting for my hockey anime Japan.
well, there's a basketball.
Anime. You've made baseball anime. Where's my hockey anime?
They even have a tennis anime.
Well,
Make an anime about a real sport. Damn it.
They have a boxing anime.
A real sport.
What, boxing is not a sport?
No,
they have an anime.
because they're too chicken to put on ice skates while doing it.
They have an. Hey, I know a real sport. There's an anime where they fight each other with their butts.
We
That's
don't talk
there's
about
a-
that. We don't
I think
talk
there's even
about
a couple.
that.
Just come on. Can you get? I mean, you can get brain damage from boxing just like you can in hockey.
But hockey, you go down with dignity because you played a real sport.
It's a very cogent argument. All right. So with that, folks, it's time for me to sign off the stream. But feel free to keep chatting. I'm just gonna cut the stream. So
Hold up. Wait, just gonna plug in the Kickstarter one last time before we go offline.
yep, I got the Kickstarter up right now. So Mythics issue 2 is has passed $1,000 in its first week. We got 33 backers. So we're on our way. We got 3 weeks to go. We got just under $3,000 left to go. So if you can stop by the campaign, pick a tier that you think you can afford to show some support for. I mean, even if it's only $1, that means a lot to us, because it's not only just about the amount of money we earn, but it's the number of backers we get. And yeah, absolutely. Matt and Bethy are working on a great book here. I saw what the story is, and the artwork is definitely ramping up from issue 1. I mean, just look at these clothes. I love Morella's transparent jacket here. I mean, that's entirely Bethy's creation, right? You didn't give her any guidance, Matt.
That's entirely her.
Yeah. Now, you said something about if you want to put her in a bathing suit, just make sure she has a jacket. And that's important for the story. So, as you can see, she's definitely got a strong sense of interesting fashion here. I love Elthia's little mesh top suit here with her yellow jacket, and it's very interesting visually. So you can expect this sort of thing. I mean, look at this night sky, this moon, this little sunset here over the city. I mean, it looks really, really cool. And then, of course, my favorite image right here is Elthia's glowing eyes when her power is released. That's just fantastic. She's going Super Saiyan, just saying. So yeah, so stop by the campaign, spread the word, help us share it out on social media. We'll unlock more goals as we go out the campaign, and in the end, we're just kind of another great book from the Mythoverse if this gets funded. So help us make it happen, folks. Until next time, I will see you when I see you.